It is 7:35, 25 minutes away from 8 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Jeff Ake along with you. This is the Voice of Freedom on Freedom 107. Joining me in studio is Pastor John Miller from Church on the Rock, also representative of Community Builders. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for letting me be here.
All right, here's what we did. We wanted to set up a debate-type situation here, right? And we contacted Progress Texarkana's representative, Councilman Derek McGary. Derek, for whatever reason, declined. He refused to come on the air here on Freedom 107. He said he was going to try to send Mayor Steve Mayo, and Mayor Mayo couldn't make it either, I guess. So we have you today.
I will debate myself, so I will win.
You're guaranteed a win in this deal.
But I'll lose too.
All right. Good article in the paper, I guess, from your perspective when it comes to what you guys were doing yesterday. You had a press conference at the post office in downtown Texarkana. And the first point I want to get to is, Progress Texarkana is saying that the additional total the additional revenue to the city of Texarkana, Texas, could be close to $500,000.
Yeah, $454,000 is what they say is going to come to Texarkana, Texas, because of alcohol sales.
True or not?
I don't see how they arrive at that. It's very simple math. I even brought a calculator, if Derek had come, that we could have looked at this. They're projecting over $19 million. It's going to come in sales. Their numbers there. Well, we called the Texas State Comptroller and asked them what would the tax rate be, the sales tax rate for the city of Texarkana, Texas, if beer and wine sales went through. He said 1.5%. So if you multiply that $19.5 million times 1.5%, you come up with $293,000. Now, that's that's $161,000 less than what they're saying is coming in. So my question to Councilman McGary is, where is that $161 million coming, or $161,000 coming from? Now, if he could call us right now, what's your number? So he can call in right now.
Very good. 903-793-1071. 903-793-1071.
So, Councilman, call in and tell us, where is that $161,000 coming from? Now, he alluded in the newspaper, he was in his TV ad, he suggested that for every dollar people buy in alcohol on the Arkansas side, that they're going to spend $3 in groceries. And it seemed to imply in his TV ad that part of those tax dollars from the groceries would come to Texarkana too. But the problem is there is no tax on groceries in Texarkana, Texas. So, and his response in the newspaper to that was, well, that other purchases will add up. Other things, they're going to wind up taxable. Well, my question, Councilman, is what other things? So I think the people deserve to know this, and here's why. It is a huge enforcement cost that could fall upon our city of Texarkana, Texas, if alcohol sales come through. In this article, if you saw in our newspaper, front page today, here's what the newspaper research found out. They checked with the Texarkana, Arkansas Criminal Investigation Division, and they said alcohol-related arrests on the Arkansas side more than double Texas numbers. There were almost 3,500 DWIs in Arkansas, 1,200 in Texarkana, Texas. 5,500, almost 5,600 cases of drunkenness in Arkansas, 2,200 on the Texas side. So Arkansas has a lot less people than Texarkana, Texas, right? But yet they've got way more alcohol-related arrests. So what's going to happen when all that alcohol moves to our side? We're going to have more police enforcement. And here's the problem. We asked Chief Harrison by phone yesterday what it costs to add one officer in the Texarkana area. He said for the first year to hire the person, to train them and put them in the field, $75,000. So if you looked at the promised sales tax revenue, using our analysis, sales numbers, you could only hire 4 officers. And that's not even counting the cost of a police car. Their numbers, 6 officers. So if there is that dramatic jump because alcohol, listen, how can alcohol crimes not go up in Texarkana, Texas if you put it in 40, 50, 60, or 100 stores that are selling it? Jeff, we did some checking on the internet, and a can of Bud costs about 67 cents. So granted, it's going to be beer and wine, but do you know that is about 30 million cans of beer? 30 million cans of beer or 2 million bottles of, $20, $10 wine that's coming to Texarkana, Texas, 30 million cans of beer. And you're telling me that's not going to require enforcement? Where's that money going to come from? Because the sales tax revenue may not be enough. So we may not get, roads paved and fire trucks and all that. We may have to come up with more money to pay for the alcohol problems.
Yeah. I talked to a gentleman who has an establishment on the Arkansas side that sells beer, wine, and liquor. He was telling me, he said, I don't get rich selling beer. Matter of fact, beer is basically a cost-neutral type proposition. And so my question then is, if you're going to sell beer and wine on the Texas side, why is that? In your opinion, do you think this is just the door that opens up to more things?
Well, that's one of our concerns. We had 4 big points in the press conference. I really wish the newspaper would do a little bit more with the research, because it was nothing but research of what's going on. One of our issues was that very thing, Jeff, is that if alcohol comes in our city, there's going to be more law enforcement required. There's going to be more drunk driving. All these issues, more crime. We've had statistics on crime that I would have loved to present to Mayor Mayo today. That's going to increase in our city.
Yeah. Also, too, one of the studies that you and I both have seen is a study that Collegedale, Tennessee did, or study for Collegedale, Tennessee, when they were looking at the wet-dry proposition. And one of the interesting things that I saw, that this whole thing on the Progress Texarkana side has been about revenue, growth, those type things. Yet, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, from 1990 to year 2000, wet areas grew by 7.4% average growth. Dry areas grew by 22% average growth. Now, that to me says that if you're looking at economic growth, then you need to keep your area dry. Just an observation.
Makes total sense to me.
Now, when you look at, because again, the hypocritical word has been thrown around quite often by Progress Texarkana and even some in the news media, how do you answer that issue of being a hypocrite? Here you are, a pastor. You got Isaac Petrie, a pastor, heading up Community Builders. Can you stay for another segment?
Sure.
Excellent. Stay for another segment. We'll answer the question about how do you answer the accusation of being hypocritical, because you guys are pastors, but yet you're taking money from alcohol establishments on the Arkansas side of Texarkana. We'll get to that coming up next. It is 7:42, 18 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Up next, the Sean Hannity Update. More with Pastor John Miller of Community Builders coming up. This is the Voice of Freedom.